Hi there. Today I'm going to read to you from this story. It's called Gilbert the Great, and it's written by Jane Clark and Charles Fuge. Before I read this story to you, I want to remember back to last week and the parts of a story that we talked about. We talked about characters, we talked about the setting, and today we're going to talk about the plot. Now, the plot is what happens in the story. And usually in a plot, there's a problem and a solution. So when I read to you from Gilbert the Great, I want you to think about what the problem is and what the solution is. Gilbert the Great by Jane Clark and Charles Fuge. From the time Gilbert the great white shark was a tiny pup, Raymond the remora stuck to him like glue. Raymond was always at Gilbert's side. When Gilbert was stuck in the seaweed, Raymond untangled him. When Gilbert got dirty, Raymond cleaned him up. And when Gilbert lost his first row of teeth, Raymond helped him collect them for the tooth fairy. Gilbert and Raymond had lots of fun. They loved to play finball, hide and seek, and sardines. They shared everything. Then one day, Raymond told Gilbert that his family had to move across the ocean. "I don't want to go, but Mom says I have to," cried Raymond. As Raymond and his family swam away, Gilbert's mother hugged him tight and tried to comfort him. "Raymond's my best friend," said Gilbert. "Why did he have to go away? It's not fair." "I know," said Mom, "but his family couldn't just leave him behind." She kissed Gilbert on the snout. "Go and play hide and seek with the pilot fish. It will keep your mind off Raymond." But Gilbert couldn't stop thinking about his friend. "I want to move with Raymond," Gilbert said. "He's moved too far away," said Mom. "We'll have to stay here. Let's go watch the basketball game. The Thrashing Threshers are playing the Tidal Tigers. Who do you want to win?" Gilbert looked around. There were remoras everywhere, but none of them was Raymond. "I don't care," he said, and he swam off before either side scored a basket. "It's my fault Raymond moved," Gilbert snapped as he passed an eel. "Last week I called him a sucker." "You didn't make Raymond leave," Mom smiled. "Everyone fights sometimes." The clownfish did their best to cheer Gilbert up, but nothing could make him smile. The next day at school, everyone was very kind to Gilbert. They even gave him an extra long turn on the seesaw. "Cheer up," said Marvin the mallet. "There are plenty of fish in the sea." "There isn't another Raymond," said Gilbert. Gilbert was still sulking when Mom came to collect him from school. "It's not the same without Raymond," Gilbert pouted. That night, Gilbert cried and cried and cried, and his warm tears mingled with the cold ocean water. The next morning, Mom took Gilbert gently by the fin and towed him into shallow water. Rocked by the gentle waves, they gazed out at the seashore and the bright blue sky. "I hope Raymond's new home is as nice as this," said Gilbert. "I'm sure it is," said Mum. "I'm hungry," Gilbert said suddenly. "We'll go to the wreck," said Mum. Gilbert's eyes lit up. They didn't usually go to the wreck. Mum didn't like him eating junk food. Scrunch, munch, crunch. As Gilbert was biting into a pile of tin cans and bits of old boat, he spotted a small remora crying in the shadows. Gilbert stopped crunching and swam toward her. "What's the matter?" Gilbert asked. "Mom and I moved and I had to leave my shark behind," she sobbed. "Now I don't have any friends." "My remora had to move too," said Gilbert sadly. "I'm so lonely." Gilbert and the remora looked at each other and smiled, wobbly smiles. "I'm Gilbert," said Gilbert. "I'm Rita," replied the remora. Just then a ray of sunlight filtered through the deep blue ocean. Gilbert's teeth flashed as he grinned a huge grin. "Do you want to play finball with me, Rita?" he asked. Sunlight danced in Rita's eyes. "I'd love to," she said, and the two new friends swam off to find a ball to play with. I hope you enjoyed Gilbert the Great. Now, before I started reading, I asked you to think about the problem in the story and the solution. But first, let's make sure we remember the setting and the characters as well. So the main character is a great white shark named Gilbert, and he lives in the ocean. And at the beginning of the story, he has an excellent close friend named Raymond the remora. Now, for those of you who love ocean creatures, you'll know that a remora is an animal that clings, that sucks onto the side of a shark and helps keep it clean. And in exchange, it gets some free meals. But in this story, Raymond has to move away. So that's the problem. The problem is that Gilbert is left without his best friend. And we can really think about that problem and feel how it might feel because we can't see our friends right now and we know how it feels to miss our friends. Well, Gilbert goes about his life and he tries to have fun and he tries to do all the things that he enjoys. And at the very end, there's a solution. A solution is how the problem is fixed. In Gilbert the Great, the solution is a brand new remora. Her name is Rita. And Rita and Gilbert become best friends. So the characters are Raymond and Rita, but mostly the character is Gilbert the Great White Shark. And the setting is the ocean, and the problem is that Gilbert's best friend Raymond moves far, far away and he can't see him anymore. And the solution is that he makes friends with Rita. All right, hope you enjoyed Gilbert the Great. We'll see you tomorrow.